Okay, so now that we've soaked our yarn for 30 minutes or overnight, however long you want, and actually a sink is also a good option for soaking it if you're going to work in your kitchen. So then you just want to squeeze excess water out of it. Some people hang it for a little while just to let a little bit more go, but this is fine, it's ready to go. So typically I do 2 skeins at once, but today I'm only going to do 2. If you're doing 2 skeins, I would suggest laying them in like this, lapping them on themselves, so you could fit 2 in there, and they're in there the exact same way, so that your 2 skeins are going to be just about identical. But because we're just using a single, we're going to do it more in a round motion. I'm just finishing up in the center. For our tripod color, I use 1.5 quarts. You can mess with this. There's so many variations you can do. You can use less water, more water, depending on what color you want. I'm going to use 3 teaspoons of dye total, but if you want brighter colors, you can use more. If you want lesser color, use less. It's just so much fun. And once you get the hang of it, you'll be addicted and you'll be making all sorts of colors. So I also use a pint of vinegar, which I put in at the beginning. And that really helps it to grab those colors on each end. I just put it in there and press it down so the vinegar is equal in the pots. Now I'm going to be using 2 tones of green today. I am a total green fanatic, so you're going to have to like my colors today. So with the salt marsh, it's quite a light color, so I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of that. We're just going to draw an imaginary line in the center and just shake it out onto your yarn. No pre-mixing, no nothing. We just make it good and easy. Now the cypress is quite dark, so we're just going to use 1 teaspoon of that. We're going to keep it more to the end because it's going to work its way to the center just because it's a dark color. So if you just want to have a look at that. Sometimes I just leave it like this because I want to get the white in the middle, which is a really nice effect too. Today we're going to actually squish it in so there is no white or little white. But that's just some different varieties you could do. It actually is quite effective doing it that way. Now here's my trusty spoon again. So I'm going to do the lighter color first so that I don't have to rinse off my spoon. And I just press that down. And again, you don't want to see those little specks of color in there. So you want to make sure that you got them all absorbed in. And now I'm going to work from the other end and just press that darker color into the lighter, just so they just meet. Now is that not easy? You can see how pretty that's going to be. This is going to take about 2 hours to cook. I put it on for 3 hours. I do not touch it again unless I see something, a spot that I think needs to be pushed in more. But generally I set this and I forget about it for about, I check it after about 2 hours. Sometimes it's done. And what you want to do is you want to use your spoon and you want to watch for when the liquid is clear. So this is, right now, you're seeing it's quite dark. And that's how you test it. When it's ready, it should look like this. There should be no color in there. And if there is a little bit of color left, let it sit overnight and it'll be fine. By morning, it'll be totally absorbed. So now you're going to cook for 3 hours. I set mine on high. And this one shuts off automatically, which is nice, so I've burnt my yarn before. That's not a good thing. Okay, now 3 hours later, this is what we have. So you can see there's still a tiny bit of white in there, but you got lots of variation of color. This little bit of yellow, I like it in there, but if you don't want to see that, then you need to just push your dye in there a bit more. But you got some darks, you got some mediums, various shades of green. And that's my tricolor dye pot.